Around the year 1945, Jorge Sepulveda, his wife Manuela, and their daughter Brunilda left their home in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, and moved to New York City. It was here that they had their second daughter, Janet, my mom. When she was 5, they moved back to Puerto Rico, where my mom lived until she was 20, when she returned to the States to attend college. That's where she met my father. Nobody who meets me would ever guess that I'm Puerto Rican. There's no reason that they would. When I was younger, I used my Puerto Rican heritage as a fun fact, a novelty to make myself feel different, special. But I didn't know much about Puerto Rico, and I didn't feel much of a connection to that part of my history because I had never actually been there. In June of this year, I figured it was time to change that.
Puerto Rico, esta bomba yo la dedico a toda mi gente de Puerto Rico, a la familia Fontanet, allá en Cupe Alto y Lo Mejía en Vega Baja, que gocen. ¡Sí! Bomba, bomba, para siempre. Bomba, bomba está presente, aquí lo canta mi gente. Bomba, bomba, para siempre.
This is the view from Emily and Joe's apartment near San Juan. From here you can see Laguna, the park, the city, the ocean. It's beautiful. You can also see this old barrio across the street. The blue tarps on many of the roofs are a constant reminder of the effects of Hurricane Maria. Maria hit Puerto Rico in September of 2017 and it had a devastating impact. Thousands of homes and businesses were destroyed, many people lost their lives, and many parts of the island are still dealing with the effects of Maria. At the time of my trip, many areas were still without power. Maui? Maui. Castillo San Felipe del Morro. Built by the Spanish in the 16th century to guard the entry to the harbor and protect the port of San Juan, the structure is beautiful and impressive, as are the views.
San Felipe del Morro, San Juan, Puerto Rico, y por aquí está Christopher. Hey!
Right next to El Morro is Santa Maria Magdalena de Posse Cemetery. I had personally never been to a cemetery like this before. Every plot was a unique and impressive work of art. It was fantastic. Catedral Metropolitana Basilica de San Juan Bautista. Originally constructed in 1521, it's one of the oldest buildings in Puerto Rico, and apparently the oldest cathedral in America. This is the final resting place of Ponce de Leon. It's also where I saw Spider-Man kneel down, say a prayer, and cross himself before standing up and walking out. I wasn't quick enough on the draw to get a picture of him actually praying, but here he is walking out. Way over on the other end of the island, in a town called San Juan, is Iglesia Porticelli, another very old church. Bruni said that when she was a girl she had been here with my grandfather, but she had never actually been inside. Porticelli was originally built in 1609. It's been restored many times over the last 400 years, but some parts, like the wooden beams holding it up, are still original.
This is trees. These are 12 trees.
Straight up tree.
Yes. This is called alsubo. No, termites get into this wood, the more it just petrifies. It gets harder. And the weird thing about this is that the first one is leaking sap, and it's over 400 years.
About a half hour from San Germain is Mayagüez, the town that my mom grew up in. The main reason I wanted to come to Mayagüez was to see the house that my mom grew up in. It isn't as nice as it used to be, but looking at the way the neighborhood was set up, all of the houses built into the side of the mountain, I can imagine something of what it must have been like back in the day.
I miss the old Puerto Rico. You know, the Puerto Rico I grew up in. That I miss. It was, being able to walk all the way downtown and window shopping and stopping at Rex Cream and getting a coconut ice cream made right there, or stopped at the bakery and get some majorcas and bring them home. That I miss.
This is the cemetery where my grandparents are buried. When we got there, it was actually closed, but Bruni was able to call the groundskeeper and convince him to let us in. My grandfather Jorge died when I was very young. My only real memories of him are talking to him on the phone, him speaking Spanish, which I didn't understand, and me just repeating, "I love you, te quiero mucho, I love you, papacito." My grandmother Manuela died before my mom was even pregnant with me, which means that she didn't even know that I would exist. I actually don't think I really realized that before this trip.
They were for each other. They fell in love, and that was it. He used to call my mom Nana, and she used to call him Sepo.
There was a lot that I wanted to do on this trip that I actually didn't get a chance to for one reason or another. It was definitely a learning experience. It taught me the importance of planning ahead. But it also taught me something that I already knew, but I needed a refresher on. The importance of family and letting people know how much you love them. Something that I wish I had more in the forefront of my mind when I arrived in Puerto Rico. Something I'll definitely remember in the future. I do feel a little bit more of a connection to my Puerto Rican heritage now. I have been to the motherland and gained a little more understanding of where I come from, the pieces of history and culture that led to me being me. But I still have so much to learn. I still have so much more I want to experience. And I definitely want to go back. Soon.